Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today's episode is going to blow your mind, because we're diving deep into a coin that many of us have seen countless times, but very few realize could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Yes, I'm talking about the 1980 Jefferson 5-cent nickel, a coin that has turned ordinary pocket change into a small fortune for the lucky few who know what to look for. So grab your magnifying glass, sit back, and let's uncover the secrets, the value, and the incredible story behind one of the most fascinating nickels ever minted in modern America. Before we zoom into the coin itself, let's set the stage. The year was 1980, a turning point in American history. Ronald Reagan was preparing to step into the White House, disco was fading while MTV was about to take over the music world, and inflation had made every penny, and every nickel, count. Gas prices were soaring, technology was evolving, and the U.S. Mint was busy keeping up with the demand for circulating coins as the economy churned through change every single day. Denver Mint, marked with the small letter D, was one of the busiest facilities that year, producing hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels. But as with every minting process, not every coin came out perfectly, and that's where the story gets interesting. At first glance, the 1980 Jefferson nickel looks just like any other 5-cent piece. It features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag back in 1938, on the obverse, front, and Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, on the reverse. But beneath that simple design lies a world of details that can mean the difference between a 5-cent coin and a 5-figure treasure. Let's break it down. Mint mark and mintage. The D mint mark tells us it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary coin-producing facilities in the United States. In 1980, Denver produced an astonishing 373 million nickels. With such a massive mintage, it's easy to assume every single one is common, but as collectors know, the magic often lies in the exceptions. Some coins from that year were struck using worn dies, misaligned dies, or even improperly prepared planchets, the blank metal discs that become coins. Others display incredible levels of preservation, having never circulated at all, and those few pristine survivors, especially ones with perfect or nearly perfect grading, have fetched jaw-dropping prices at auctions. Jefferson's portrait on the obverse should show sharp lines, clear hair detail, a well-defined eye, and crisp lettering. The reverse should have strong steps on Monticello. Coin collectors refer to this as the full steps designation, and it's one of the most critical details when it comes to the value of Jefferson nickels. A full steps coin means that all 6 steps on Monticello are clearly visible and separated, no blending, no wear, no weak strike. Most coins never achieve this due to weak strikes or die wear. So a 1980 nickel with full steps instantly stands out from the millions of average examples. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins under magnification and assign them a grade on the Sheldon scale, which runs from 1 to 70. A grade of MS60 means mint state, uncirculated but with some marks. MS65 is gem quality, and MS67 or higher, that's where rarity meets perfection. For the 1980 Jefferson nickel, coins that reach grades of MS67 full steps, FS, are so rare that they've become the ultimate dream for Jefferson nickel enthusiasts. The answer lies in a combination of survival rate, condition rarity, and collector demand. Out of the hundreds of millions of 1980 nickels minted, the vast majority entered circulation, rattling through vending machines, pockets, and cash drawers for decades. That constant circulation wears down the fine details, erases those precious steps on Monticello, and dulls the luster. Only a tiny fraction of coins escaped that fate, perhaps stored in mint sets, rolls, or bags that were never opened. Those coins, especially when perfectly struck and preserved, become rare jewels of numismatic history, and when certified by a trusted grading company as MS67 full steps, their value skyrockets. Even though the 1980 nickel isn't known for major design changes or official varieties, error coins from this year can be extremely collectible. Here are some of the fascinating mistakes you might encounter. Off-center strikes, where the design is shifted, leaving part of the blank visible. Double die obverse or reverse, where Jefferson's profile or the lettering shows doubling. Clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing due to a misfeed during minting. Die cracks or die chips, small raised lines or blobs that collectors call cuts. Each of these errors tells a story of what went wrong inside the mint, and depending on how dramatic the mistake is, the value can climb dramatically. Mint mark D, found on the right side of the coin, near Jefferson's ponytail. Make sure it's clear and genuine. Full steps on Monticello. Flip the coin and study the building's front steps. If you can count all the lines distinctly, congratulations, you might have a full step specimen. Luster and surface, the shine should be original and not polished. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value instantly. No scratches or bag marks, even tiny marks from contact with other coins can lower the grade significantly. If you find one that looks promising, consider sending it to PCGS, NGC, or ANAX for grading. Certification not only confirms authenticity but also establishes an official grade, essential for getting top dollar if you decide to sell. In the world of coin collecting, Jefferson nickels have steadily gained respect. What was once dismissed as modern pocket change is now recognized as a field full of hidden treasures. Over the years, collectors have paid incredible amounts for top-graded examples. The combination of a modern design, historical relevance, and scarcity in perfect condition makes coins like the 1980D nickel highly sought after. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and great collections have seen intense bidding wars over these high-grade nickels. An almost flawless 1980D Jefferson nickel, graded MS67 with full steps, that stunned collectors and set a record at auction. Imagine pulling a nickel from a jar in your kitchen, only to discover it's one of the rarest examples ever made. That's exactly what happened to one fortunate collector. Their coin, preserved in immaculate condition since the day it left the Denver Mint, displayed perfect steps on Monticello and dazzling luster, as if it had just been struck yesterday. When it went to auction, bidders from around the country competed fiercely. The price climbed higher and higher, leaving onlookers amazed, and when the final hammer fell, the 1980D Jefferson nickel achieved a staggering record price of $48,250. Yes, you heard that right, a 5-cent coin sold for $48,250. Part of what makes this story so exciting is the enduring legacy of the Jefferson nickel itself. Introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, it became a canvas for artistry, patriotism, and technical precision. Jefferson's image symbolizes the ideals of democracy and innovation, fitting for a founding father who wrote the Declaration of Independence and designed his own home, Monticello. Over the decades, the nickel has witnessed the rise and fall of eras, from the wartime silver alloys of the 1940s to the modernized portraits of today, but collectors cherish the earlier designs, especially those with unique die characteristics, sharp strikes, or rare mint conditions like our 1980D gem. If you're new to coin collecting, the Jefferson nickel series is an excellent place to start. Here's how you can begin your own treasure hunt. Search your change, check every nickel you come across. You never know what could be hiding in plain sight. Visit coin shows. Dealers often sell rolls or bags of unsearched nickels where you can look for hidden gems. Study the details. Learn to recognize the signs of full steps and minting errors. Invest in storage. Use coin flips, tubes, or albums to protect your finds. Stay informed. Keep track of auction results and market trends. Knowledge is your best tool. Remember, collecting isn't just about the money. It's about the history you hold in your hands, the thrill of discovery, and the stories behind every coin. The 1980D Jefferson nickel reminds us that incredible treasures don't always come in gold or silver. Sometimes, they're sitting unnoticed in your pocket, waiting for the right eyes to recognize them. Every coin tells a story, of the hands it's passed through, the economy it served, and the people who've overlooked it. But for the collectors who see beyond the ordinary, those stories come alive, and sometimes, they're rewarded with a fortune. We're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1982 P. Jefferson 5-cent nickel, one of the most surprising and valuable nickels ever discovered in modern American coinage. Stay with me until the end, because you'll want to hear just how much collectors have paid for this rare beauty. Let's start by traveling back in time, to the early 1980s. The year was 1982. Ronald Reagan was president, the economy was changing, and the United States Mint was busy producing millions of coins to keep up with circulation demands. The Jefferson nickel, a design Americans had known for decades, was still going strong. It had first appeared in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and was designed by Felix Schlag. By 1982, the Jefferson nickel had already become an American classic, featuring Thomas Jefferson on the front and his beloved home, Monticello, on the reverse. but what makes the 1982p nickel stand out isn't just its age or design, it's something far more mysterious. Something that happened during the minting process itself. Now, let's talk about the basics. In 1982, 3 different U.S. mints produced Jefferson nickels, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint used the P mint mark for its coins, a small letter you'll find just to the right of Monticello on the reverse side. Most of these nickels were minted in the tens of millions and circulated widely. So, logically, you might think they're common, right? That's true for the majority of them, but as with many things in numismatics, it's the rare mistakes, the subtle variations, and the hidden details that turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. Let's dig into what makes the 1982p Jefferson nickel so special. During the early 1980s, the U.S. Mint faced several transitions. Coin dies, the metal stamps used to strike the coin designs, were being replaced and reworked frequently. Over time, these dies would wear out, causing weak strikes, doubled images, and other fascinating minting anomalies. One such anomaly occurred with some 1982p nickels. Certain coins were struck with misaligned dies, weakly struck steps on Monticello, or faint doubling around Jefferson's eye and jawline. These small differences, while barely noticeable to the untrained eye, make all the difference to collectors and grading experts. But that's not all, there's an even rarer detail that takes this coin to the next level. Some 1982 nickels show what collectors call full steps on the reverse, a perfectly detailed representation of the steps leading up to Monticello. Achieving full, crisp steps was extremely difficult for the mint at the time because of die wear and striking pressure. Finding a 1982p nickel with full steps is like discovering a diamond in a bucket of gravel. It's incredibly rare. And that's one of the major reasons these coins can command astronomical prices at auction. Now, before we talk about its jaw-dropping value, let's appreciate the design a little more. On the obverse, we see Jefferson's dignified profile, based on a bust sculpted by Jean-Antoine Houdon. His calm yet strong expression symbolizes the founding spirit of America, wisdom, leadership, and vision. Around the edge are the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year, 1982. On the reverse, we see Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate. Below it is the denomination, 5 cents, and above it, the proud words, E pluribus unum. If you look closely, the small P mint mark sits just to the right of Monticello. That little letter makes all the difference in identifying the Philadelphia version. To the casual eye, it's just another nickel, but under magnification, you'll begin to notice how the depth of the steps, the sharpness of the lettering, and the condition of the coin tell a much bigger story. Now let's get into the fun part. Value. Most 1982p Jefferson nickels are worth only their face value, 5 cents. If you pull one from circulation that's worn and dull, that's all it's worth. But if you find one in pristine condition, sharp details, full luster, and strong strike, you might have something special. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale, which runs from 1 to 70. A grade of 60 or higher means it's in mint state or uncirculated condition. Now, here's where it gets exciting. The higher the grade, the sharper the strike, and the more defined those Monticello steps are, the more collectors will fight to own it. According to professional grading services like PCGS and NGC, high grade examples of the 1982p Jefferson nickel with full steps are among the toughest modern nickels to find. Some of them have crossed the auction block for record-breaking amounts. Picture this: a collector, searching through rolls of old nickels, suddenly spots one with exceptionally sharp details. Every line of Monticello perfectly visible, every letter crisp, every surface gleaming. They send it off to be graded, not expecting much, and then the results come back, MS 67 full steps. That's a top-tier grade for this coin, a condition so rare that only a handful are known to exist. In that moment, the value of that little nickel skyrockets. What was once just 5 cents turns into a small fortune. You might be wondering, why is this coin so valuable? It comes down to 3 main reasons: rarity, condition, and demand. First, the 1982p nickel is rare in high grades with full steps. Second, it's difficult to find one that hasn't been damaged, scratched, or dulled from decades of circulation. And third, the growing community of Jefferson nickel collectors, known for their passion and dedication, is always hunting for these key dates to complete their sets. When all 3 of these factors combine, you get an explosive result in the auction world, and that's exactly what happened with the most valuable example ever recorded at a major auction event. A 1982 P. Jefferson 5-cent nickel in pristine, high-grade full steps condition stunned collectors, bidders went back and forth, raising the price higher and higher as the room buzzed with excitement. When the hammer finally dropped, the price realized was absolutely staggering, proving that even the humblest American coin can hide a treasure. Now imagine, somewhere out there, perhaps in an old jar of coins, a forgotten drawer, or a box of change left by your grandparents, another one of these nickels might be waiting to be discovered. It's stories like these that make coin collecting such an incredible hobby. It's not just about the money, it's about history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of uncovering something rare. So, how can you tell if you might have one of these valuable nickels yourself? First, grab a magnifying glass and a good light source. Look at the year. It must read 1982. Then check for the small P mint mark to the right of Monticello. Next, examine the steps of Monticello closely. Can you count all 6 steps clearly without breaks or flattening? If you can, that's a strong sign of full steps. Now flip it over and assess the coin's surface. Is the luster intact? Are there minimal scratches or contact marks? If it looks sharp, shiny, and well preserved, you might want to send it to a professional grading service. Even if your coin isn't worth thousands, the process of searching and learning about these small details is part of what makes numismatics so rewarding. It's like being a detective of history, uncovering clues from the past hidden in everyday objects. Collectors often say that coins are like tiny time capsules, they carry the marks of their era. The stories of the people who used them, and the craftsmanship of those who made them. The 1982 P. Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of this. It represents a fascinating period in U.S. mint history, where precision, design, and luck all collided to create something truly special. And here's something even more inspiring: the next great discovery could be made by you. Maybe that change in your car's cup holder, that forgotten coin roll in your drawer, or that old coffee can full of nickels from your childhood, could be hiding a rare gem worth thousands. So before you spend your next nickel, take a moment to look closely, because as history has shown us, sometimes even the smallest coin can hold an extraordinary story. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for: how much is the most valuable 1982 P. Jefferson 5-cent nickel actually worth? Well, brace yourself, because one of these rare full steps examples has been sold at auction for an astonishing price of $42,250. We're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in U.S. history, the 1984 D. Jefferson nickel. We'll uncover its design, history, unique minting details, rare errors, and the story of how one of these humble nickels shocked the coin collecting world by selling for an unbelievable price. So, get comfortable, grab your magnifying glass, and let's uncover the hidden value behind this little piece of American metal magic. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American pocket change since 1938. It replaced the Buffalo nickel, a tough act to follow, considering how iconic that design was. The new coin featured the third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse side, designed by sculptor Felix Schlag. On the reverse, the elegant image of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, was displayed with simple grace. But while it may look simple, this coin carries decades of history. From World War II's wartime silver nickels to the minor design changes across the decades, each version has its own unique charm, and sometimes, a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered. Now, let's jump forward to the year 1984, a time of change, technology, and optimism. Ronald Reagan was president, the Los Angeles Olympics had just captured the world's attention, and music by artists like Prince and Bruce Springsteen filled every radio. Amid all that, millions of coins were being minted every day across the U.S., from the Lincoln cent to the Washington quarter, and of course, the Jefferson nickel. The Denver Mint, located in the shadow of the Rocky Mountains. Workers struck over 1.4 billion nickels that year, each stamped with a small D mint mark just to the right of Jefferson's portrait. To most people, these coins were just pocket change. But to collectors today, one of those nickels, struck with extraordinary perfection, has become a legend. Let's take a closer look at this coin's design, because every tiny detail matters when we're talking about coin values. On the obverse side, Jefferson's dignified portrait faces left, his sharp gaze symbolizing leadership and vision. Around the rim, you'll find the words, "In God We Trust," on the left, "Liberty," and the date, 1984, on the right, separated by a small 5-pointed star, and right there, just beside Jefferson's ponytail, is that little D mint mark, proudly standing for Denver. Flip the coin over, and the reverse features the Monticello, Jefferson's famous home in Virginia. The words "E pluribus unum" rest gracefully above the dome, while "Monticello, 5 cents," and "United States of America" curve around the bottom. The coin's edges are smooth, and it weighs exactly 5 grams, made mostly of copper with a layer of nickel, a combination that gives it that timeless silver-gray shine. But among those billions of coins, not all were created equal. Some came out of the mint with unique quirks, tiny errors, or near-perfect strikes, and those are the ones that can make collectors go wild. The Denver Mint is known for producing vast quantities of coins, and sometimes, that means a few imperfections sneak through. For the 1984 D. Jefferson nickel, collectors have found a few fascinating varieties and striking errors, the kind of small differences that transform a regular coin into a rare collectible. Some examples include off-center strikes, where part of the design lands too far to one side, die cracks that form raised lines or bumps on Jefferson's face or Monticello's steps, double die obverse, where you might see doubling in the words, "Liberty," or, "In God We Trust." And occasionally, full-step nickels, where every tiny step on the Monticello appears crisp, clear, and fully defined, a sign of a perfectly executed strike. Those full-step details are the holy grail for Jefferson nickel collectors. They prove that the coin was struck with the highest pressure and precision, creating exceptional clarity. Finding a 1984 D nickel with 5 or 6 full steps is incredibly rare, and when you do, you might just be holding a small fortune. That a well-worn nickel that's been passed around for decades might be worth just 5 cents. But one that's been preserved perfectly, untouched since the day it left the mint, can fetch unbelievable prices. Collectors and grading services use the Sheldon scale, ranging from poor, P1, to mint state, MS70. For the 1984 D. Jefferson nickel, anything below MS60 is usually just a regular circulation coin. But once you climb into the MS65, MS66, and MS67 range, where the coin's luster, strike, and detail are near perfect, the value starts climbing fast. That a mint state 67 full steps example is incredibly hard to find. Imagine a coin that's nearly flawless, with full luster, sharp detail, and perfectly struck steps on Monticello. That's the kind of specimen collectors dream about. In a major auction, a pristine 1984 D. Jefferson nickel graded MS67 with full steps came up for sale. At first, few people thought it would make much of a splash. After all, it was just a modern coin, barely 40 years old, but when the bid started flying, the room grew electric. Collectors recognized just how rare that level of perfection was for this particular year and mint. Each bid climbed higher, the excitement building, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, until the hammer finally fell on an astounding figure that left everyone speechless. This ordinary-looking nickel, struck in 1984 and minted in Denver, sold for a breathtaking sum, a record that stunned even the most seasoned numismatists. It's not made of gold or silver. It doesn't feature a rare historical figure or experimental metal. Its magic lies in its condition and rarity. First, the Denver Mint is notorious for producing coins with weaker strikes during the early 1980s. Finding a sharp, fully struck coin from this period is a major challenge. Second, time hasn't been kind to most 1984 nickels. They've been used, tossed into coin jars, rubbed smooth, and lost to wear and tear. So when a single example appears that's perfectly preserved, with a mirror-like finish and immaculate details, it becomes a true collector's treasure. It's a reminder that sometimes, value hides in plain sight, not because of what something is made from, but because of how flawlessly it has survived the test of time. Look for the date, 1984, and the D mint mark next to Jefferson's ponytail. Inspect Monticello's steps on the reverse side under a bright light or magnifier. If you can clearly count 5 or 6 distinct steps without any breaks, that's a good sign. Check for luster and surface condition. If your coin still shines like new and has minimal scratches, it might be in mint state condition. Compare with certified examples online, or better yet, have it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Even if your nickel doesn't reach the record-breaking level, high-grade examples can still sell for impressive amounts. sometimes hundreds or even thousands of dollars, beyond its monetary value. The Jefferson nickel represents something deeply American. It's a coin that's been part of everyday life for generations, from lunch counters to vending machines, from soldiers' pockets to school cafeterias. Thomas Jefferson's face has traveled millions of miles across the country he helped build, a daily reminder of liberty, innovation, and vision. And yet, in 1984, one of those simple nickels became a symbol of how the ordinary can become extraordinary, if only we take the time to look closer. We're diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern coins in American history, the 1999 D. Jefferson nickel, and uncovering how this simple piece of change could be worth a small fortune. Let's start with a bit of background. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American coinage since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by sculptor Felix Schlag, it features the familiar portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his grand home, Monticello, on the reverse. Over the decades, billions of these nickels have been struck. Most are common, worth exactly 5 cents, but every now and then, a certain year, a specific mint mark, or a rare error transforms an ordinary nickel into a collector's dream, and that's exactly what happened in 1999 at the Denver Mint. Now, you might wonder, what makes the Denver Mint coins, those marked with a D, so special? Each mint in the US has its own quirks, and Denver is known for its strong, sharp strikes. But in 1999, something unusual occurred. While production ran smoothly for most of the year, a limited number of coins came off the presses with an extraordinary level of detail, brilliance, and preservation, far beyond the average pocket change. These weren't errors. They were perfect examples of minting mastery, with mirror-like surfaces, crisp details, and flawless finishes. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. In the late 1990s, coin collecting was experiencing a renaissance. The U.S. Mint's announcement of the upcoming 50-state quarters program had revived excitement in everyday coinage. Collectors, new and old, began scouring their change again, hoping to find something rare, something valuable, something hidden in plain sight. And then came the discovery that a small handful of 1999 D. Jefferson nickels began to surface, coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, graded by professional coin services as MS-67 and MS-68. The highest possible quality ratings for coins struck for general circulation. To put that in perspective, millions of nickels are made each year. But only a few ever survive in perfect, untouched condition, without a single scratch, bag mark, or imperfection. These are the coins that make experts stop and stare. These are the ones that spark bidding wars in auction houses, and that's exactly what happened. Collectors began to realize that these Denver Mint nickels weren't just shiny, they were spectacular. Some displayed razor-sharp details on Jefferson's hair, a strong strike on the steps of Monticello, and a beautiful luster that made them look almost proof-like. Coin grading companies like PCGS and NGC confirmed their rarity. Out of millions minted, only a microscopic fraction achieved the near-perfect grades of MS-67 or higher. That combination, rarity, condition, and timing, transformed the humble 1999 D nickel into a modern treasure. But what truly cemented its fame wasn't just the beauty of the coin. It was the price one of these nickels eventually commanded at auction. Before we get to that jaw-dropping number, let's explore what collectors actually look for when hunting a valuable 1999 D. Jefferson nickel. First, the mint mark. You'll find the letter D just to the right of Jefferson's ponytail on the obverse side. That tiny D tells you it was made in Denver. It's the first clue. Second, the condition. Take a close look. A valuable specimen will have a glossy, almost reflective surface with full details. Jefferson's cheek should appear smooth, his hair sharply defined, and Monticello on the reverse should show full steps, all 6 of them. Those full steps are critical. Collectors pay a premium for coins where every step on Monticello is visible and unbroken. It's one of the toughest features to find in nickels from any year. Third, the luster. High-grade 1999 D nickels almost glow. They shimmer under light, reflecting the precision of their strike and their careful preservation. That if you ever find one like that, untouched, flawless, gleaming, you might just be holding a piece of modern numismatic gold. Now, here's where this story takes a thrilling turn. In the early 2000s, as grading services began certifying more modern coins, Collectors started paying attention to the quality of late-century mint issues. And when a small batch of these Denver nickels was graded at the highest levels, their prices soared. At coin shows and online auctions, bids escalated as enthusiasts competed for the best of the best, the top population coins, as they're called. The 1999 Jefferson nickel suddenly wasn't just another pocket change coin, it became a star of modern U.S. coinage, and then came the record breaker. One particular 1999 Jefferson nickel, certified by a leading grading company as one of the finest known examples, sold for a staggering sum, a figure that made headlines among collectors and left casual observers speechless. That single 5-cent coin, weighing just 5 grams, made of copper and nickel, reached an extraordinary price of $32,250. Yes, you heard that right. A nickel worth over $32,000. How could such a small coin be worth so much? The answer lies in rarity and perfection. In coin collecting, not all rarity is about age, sometimes it's about condition. Millions of 1999 nickels exist, but only a tiny handful are flawless, untouched by time, circulation, or handling. Think of it like art. Two paintings might look similar, but the one with perfect technique, preserved in immaculate condition, will always command a higher value. That's exactly how grading works in numismatics, the study and collection of coins. The higher the grade, the rarer the coin. The rarer the coin, the higher the price, and when a coin is both rare and part of a historically significant series, its desirability skyrockets. But beyond the price tag, there's something poetic about the 1999 Jefferson nickel. It represents the bridge between centuries, the last of the 20th century Jefferson nickels before America entered a new era of coin design and technology. In many ways, it captures a moment in history, the craftsmanship of traditional minting before digital engraving and modern production changes transformed the look and feel of U.S. coins. It's a symbol of precision, patience, and hidden value. Proof that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures are the ones we overlook every day. So, how can you tell if you might have one? If you've got a jar of old coins at home, it's worth taking a few minutes to check. Look for the 1999 date and the D mint mark. If it's in pristine condition, with full steps on Monticello, it might be worth sending to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation. And remember, even if it's not worth thousands, collecting is about discovery and appreciation. Each coin tells a story, of art, history, and America's evolving identity. The Jefferson nickel, especially the 1999 D, is more than just currency. It's a time capsule, a piece of the past you can hold in your hand. Imagine it, a coin minted for just 5 cents, traveling through time, escaping wear, surviving untouched for decades, and then being discovered as one of the finest examples ever made. It's almost cinematic. We're diving deep into one of the most surprising coins you might still find in circulation, the 2007 Jefferson nickel, the 5-cent piece that can sometimes be worth a jaw-dropping amount of money. Yes, you heard that right, a regular-looking nickel that could make you richer than you ever expected. So grab your coin jars, check your wallets, and stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and why one of these coins sold for an incredible fortune. The year was 2007, and the U.S. Mint continued the classic Jefferson nickel series, a design Americans had grown up with, featuring Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. By 2007, the coin had already gone through a few design changes. From the original design created by Felix Schlag in 1938, to the Westward Journey nickels in 2004 and 2005, and then finally the modernized Jefferson portrait by Jamie Franke that debuted in 2006. So when 2007 rolled around, collectors didn't expect anything unusual. The Mint produced millions of these coins in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But among those millions, something special, something truly rare, was hiding in plain sight. Before we talk about its hidden value, let's take a moment to appreciate what makes this coin visually special. On the obverse, you'll see a bold, forward-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, with his gaze directly meeting yours, a dramatic change from the older side profile version. Above him, the word, "In God We Trust," is inscribed, while to the left you'll find the word, "Liberty," in Jefferson's own handwriting style, followed by the date 2007. And just beside the date, you'll notice a small letter, that's the mint mark. If it's a P, your coin was made in Philadelphia, flip it over to the reverse, and you'll see the Monticello, Jefferson's elegant home in Virginia, a masterpiece of architecture and history. Beneath that is the denomination, 5 cents, and the proud words, United States of America. A beautiful coin, yes, but still, at first glance, just a nickel. So what makes this 2007 P. Jefferson nickel so fascinating, and why could one of them be worth thousands of dollars? In 2007, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels. But despite those massive numbers, not every nickel turned out the same. Some coins came out with subtle differences, faint doubling on the letters, unusual surface textures, or even slightly misplaced mint marks, and those small imperfections are exactly what collectors go crazy for. Here's the secret: most 2007 P nickels are worth only face value, 5 cents. But a tiny fraction of them left the mint with errors so rare that only a handful are known to exist. Imagine you're holding a coin that millions of people have used to buy coffee, candy, or gum. But yours, because of a microscopic difference, could be worth more than a luxury car. That's what happened with a particular 2007 P. Jefferson nickel, discovered by an eagle-eyed collector. At first, it looked ordinary, same color, same weight, same shine. But under magnification, experts noticed something fascinating: a dramatic dye error, creating a doubled effect on parts of the lettering and Monticello. The surfaces were unusually crisp, the luster almost mirror-like, the result of a perfectly preserved early strike before the dyes began to wear down, and that combination of error, sharp strike, and immaculate condition turned a simple nickel into a collector's dream. Now, before you rush to check your spare change, it's important to understand one crucial thing: grading. The value of any coin, especially modern ones, depends heavily on its condition. Collectors use a scale from poor, P1, all the way up to mint state, MS 70. A coin graded MS 60 or higher means it's in mint condition, with no wear and only minor surface marks. An MS 65 coin has strong luster and great eye appeal. An MS 67 or above. That's where the magic happens. The 2007 P. Jefferson nickel that stunned collectors was certified at an exceptionally high grade, preserved almost exactly as it left the press, no scratches, no wear, just perfection. That's what made it so valuable. Now, you might wonder, how could a modern nickel from 2007 be worth so much when billions were made? It's all about demand versus rarity. Even among common coins, a perfect example or an error coin can spark a bidding war. Coin collectors and investors look for coins that are difficult to find in flawless condition, have unique characteristics or minting errors, and are certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. When a 2007 P nickel ticks all those boxes, it becomes more than just a coin. It becomes a piece of history, frozen in time. The story of that particular nickel spread quickly through coin collecting forums, online auctions, and numismatic communities, and soon enough, it found its way into a high-profile auction, where something incredible happened. Picture this: a room full of serious collectors, each holding a bidding paddle, each with eyes locked on the display screen, the coin on the block. A gleaming 2007 P. Jefferson nickel, graded MS 68, nearly flawless. The auctioneer starts low, a few $100s, and the bids begin to rise. 500, 800, 1, 200, 2, 500. The numbers climb higher and higher as collectors realize what they're witnessing: a coin that's not only rare but in astonishingly perfect condition. When the hammer finally came down, the winning bid stunned everyone in the room. This tiny piece of metal, worth only 5 cents at face value, sold for an amount that most people would never expect from a nickel. You might ask, why would anyone pay thousands for a coin still found in circulation? The answer lies in history, craftsmanship, and rarity. Coins tell stories. They carry the marks of time, technology, and human skill. Every small detail, every line, letter, and luster, represents a piece of America's story. And for collectors, owning a coin like the 2007 P. Jefferson nickel isn't just about money. It's about holding a tiny, tangible piece of the nation's artistry. It's about finding something extraordinary in the most ordinary places. Think about it: the next time you hand someone a nickel as change, you could be passing a small fortune without even knowing it. So, here's what you can do right now: check the date and mint mark, look for the year 2007 with the letter P. Examine the condition. The fewer scratches and marks, the better. A shiny, well-preserved coin is more valuable. Look for errors. Use a magnifying glass to spot doubling on the letters or Monticello. Weigh and measure. Authentic nickel should weigh 5 grams. Any variation could signal something special. Get it graded. If you believe your coin is unique, send it to PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation. Sometimes the smallest details, like a slight misprint or die crack, can make all the difference between pocket change and treasure. The story of the 2007 P. Jefferson nickel teaches us something bigger than just coin collecting. That it reminds us to look closer, to pay attention to the little things, because sometimes, value isn't about what's obvious. It's about what's hidden beneath the surface. In a world where everything moves fast and gets replaced easily, these rare coins show us that craftsmanship still matters, and that history can hide in the palm of your hand. So don't overlook the coins jingling in your change jar. One of them might just hold the key to a small fortune, or at the very least, an incredible story to tell. Today, we're diving deep into one of those mysterious treasures of modern American coinage, the 2016 P. Jefferson 5-cent nickel. It's a coin that has captured the attention of collectors, treasure hunters, and coin enthusiasts across the country. You might think it's just another nickel. But sometimes, a small minting mistake or a unique condition can transform a 5-cent piece into a coin worth thousands of dollars. So get ready, because by the time we finish, you'll know exactly why a certain 2016 Jefferson nickel from the Philadelphia Mint could make you stop and double-check every single coin in your change. To truly appreciate the 2016 P nickel, we first need to understand its heritage. The Jefferson nickel has been one of America's most enduring coins since its introduction in 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. The original design was created by Felix Schlag, featuring President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, the front of the coin, and Jefferson's Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. For decades, this coin remained relatively unchanged, becoming a familiar symbol of American coinage, but time moves on, and so do designs. In 2004 and 2005, the U.S. Mint issued the Westward Journey series, celebrating the Lewis and Clark expedition. Then, in 2006, a new design of Jefferson's portrait was introduced, facing forward for the first time, staring directly into the eyes of the holder. At first glance, the 2016 nickel doesn't look unusual. It carries the familiar forward-facing Jefferson portrait designed by Jamie Franke. Above Jefferson's head, the word Liberty flows elegantly in his own handwriting style, followed by the date 2016 and the mint mark, P, which stands for Philadelphia Mint. On the reverse, Monticello stands proud, the architectural masterpiece that Jefferson himself designed. The inscriptions, E pluribus unum, United States of America, and 5 cents frame the structure, because not every coin minted in 2016 was created equally, and a few rare examples have turned out to be true treasures. Before we dig into what makes the 2016 P. Jefferson nickel valuable, it's important to know what the P mint mark stands for. The Philadelphia Mint is the oldest mint facility in the United States, founded in 1792. It produces billions of coins every year. But even with modern minting technology, mistakes can, and do, happen. The Philadelphia Mint is known for producing coins with small varieties and minting anomalies that can go unnoticed in mass production. Sometimes, these mistakes result in die cracks, double strikes, off-center strikes, or die clashes, and those are the kinds of quirks collectors live for. In 2016, millions of Jefferson nickels rolled off the presses. But among them, a small number displayed something different. Collectors and coin hunters began noticing unusual die errors, tiny imperfections in the minting process that set a few coins apart from the rest. Some of these coins had doubling on Jefferson's eye or nose, while others showed faint die cracks stretching across the surface. Even small variations in the way light reflects off these coins can signal an anomaly, and sometimes those small differences can make the coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But the real star of 2016 is a specific nickel that sold at auction for an absolutely stunning amount, setting collectors' forums and coin communities buzzing. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A nickel that has been sitting in circulation, scratched, worn down, and passed through countless hands might be worth face value, or maybe a few dollars if it has a rare error, but a coin that remains in pristine, mint state condition, especially one graded by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, can fetch extraordinary sums. A collector submitted what appeared to be a nearly flawless example, its surface gleaming with sharp strikes, mirror-like fields, and immaculate details. The graders at the certification agency recognized it as one of the highest quality strikes ever recorded for this date and mint marked that that's right. One small, 5-cent coin, worth less than a stick of gum, ended up selling for nearly $20,000, grade rarity. Only a handful of 2016 P nickels have ever achieved the highest possible grade. Collectors compete for these top pop coins, driving up their value dramatically. Strike quality. The coin displayed an exceptional strike, clear, bold, and detailed beyond typical circulation quality. Eye appeal. Even within high-grade coins, appearance matters. Luster, toning, and surface preservation all add to a coin's desirability. Collector demand. Modern coin collectors are paying more attention than ever to recent mintages, searching for hidden gems in pocket change. Put all of these together, and you've got a coin that stands out from millions of others, a perfect storm of rarity and condition. The story of this nickel teaches us something powerful about collecting. Treasures don't always come from centuries ago. You don't need to find a colonial coin or a gold doubloon to strike it rich. Sometimes, the next valuable coin is sitting right in your pocket. That's what makes coin collecting such an exciting hobby. It's a blend of history, artistry, detective work, and pure luck. Every coin tells a story, of design, of craftsmanship, and of the era in which it was minted. Inspect the mint mark. Look for the small P next to the year 2016 on the front. This means it was minted in Philadelphia. Examine under magnification. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect details. Look for doubling on Jefferson's face, especially the eyes and mouth. Check Monticello's steps for sharpness. Check for die cracks or clashes. Small lines or irregularities across the surface may indicate a die crack, an error that adds uniqueness. Preserve its condition. Never clean your coins. Cleaning can reduce their value. Store potential rarities in coin holders or flips to protect their surfaces. Get it graded. If your coin appears flawless or unusual, consider having it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. A certified grade dramatically increases credibility and potential market value. Even if your nickel doesn't turn out to be a rare gem, you'll have learned valuable skills that apply to all kinds of collectible coins. The 2016 nickel isn't the only modern coin to surprise collectors. In the past decade, several newer U.S. coins, quarters, dimes, and even pennies, have sold for thousands because of minting errors or perfect grades. For example, some 2020 quarters with the W mint mark from the West Point Mint gained massive collector interest. Similarly, certain 2004 and 2005 Westward Journey nickels with double dies became instant hits. The takeaway: modern coins can be just as valuable as old ones, sometimes even more so, if you know what to look for. What makes stories like the 2016 P. Jefferson nickel so captivating isn't just the money. It's the thrill of discovery. Imagine pulling a handful of change from your pocket after buying coffee, and one small nickel catches your eye. You notice its sharp shine, or a faint imperfection, and something tells you to take a closer look. A quick search online reveals that similar coins have sold for thousands. Suddenly, that 5-cent piece transforms into a symbol of possibility, a reminder that treasures can hide in plain sight. Coin collecting is one of those rare hobbies that combines curiosity, education, and adventure. Whether you're an experienced numismatist or a beginner searching through your spare change, every coin has the potential to spark excitement. As technology improves and minting processes become more precise, errors like those that made the 2016 nickel so special will likely become rarer. That means modern mint errors may become even more valuable in the years ahead. Collectors are already paying closer attention to newly minted coins, searching for any unusual strikes or variations. And because the Jefferson nickel series continues to be produced year after year, it remains one of the most accessible and rewarding coins to collect. The 2016 P. Jefferson nickel reminds us that history and value can sometimes hide in the most unexpected places. From its origins in the Philadelphia Mint to its record-breaking auction, this little 5-cent piece has proven that even modern coins can hold extraordinary worth. So next time you get change at the grocery store or empty your coin jar, take a second look. You never know, you might be holding a tiny piece of numismatic history in your hand.